We don't need to bring the cake versus pie argument back to the comment section. Me and the website are going to get into a fight.
Are you familiar with that actually good sir?
What is a cheesecake? Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here coming at you from the Knife Center. Welcome to the show. We got a bunch of cool new knives on the table in front of me. Let's just jump right in, shall we? The Drop Bear Zero from Kizer is in the building. Here are two of the four available options right now. Obviously, very clearly the classic Drop Bear profile, but some significant differences. One, you've got the top liner lock, or that kind of compression style lock. They can't call it that, but that is kind of what's going on here, with a button actuation. So you get, push button friendliness, finger safe closing, blade path right there, wrist flick open and closed, which is quite nice. The other thing that you'll soon start to notice as soon as you pick it up and turn it over is the cleanliness of this. The zero is basically meaning like zero distractions, zero extra details, really, because you can't see any hardware. There's no, none of the hardware holding the sides together. The pivot is not visible. In fact, there's no blade markings even on these bad boys. The knife itself is still marked, but it's on the inside of the back spacer, where you get the steel, the Kizer, the Drop Bear Zero, the designer. All of that is squeezed into the back spacer on the inside, but from the outside, super, super sleek and super, super clean. What else? We got a tail-mounted pocket clip, and as you look here, it's about the only two bits of screw hardware you can see. One, the screw holding it in, and two, one little screw underneath of that. Again, also, starkly clean pocket clip right there. And then there you go. Prices on these. There are two steels, M390 and LMAX. The prices on them are essentially the same. Satin blade versions of this knife are at just under $120. The black coating on the blade adds another $10. Which steel should you choose? Honestly, either one. I don't really think there's a clear reason to choose one of these steels over the other, I would say. Yes, there are some, on paper differences, but in terms of, in pocket, actual real world carry, they're stainless. They're going to hold an edge pretty well. Pick the color configuration you like and don't worry about which steel's on it. That'd be my advice, at least on this one.
Pick the one that makes you sound better, fancier at dinner parties.
In terms of the steel?
Yeah.
I think we're going to bore anyone who, if we're at a dinner party, we're going to be obviously, Thomas, you and I would be the outliers of the population at a true dinner party.
Yes, I started carrying an LMAX blade. Are you familiar with LMAX, my good sir?
And that's when they see us to the door.
Sweet.
Yes, we can go do something else that we actually want to do. Specs, 3.1 inches on the drop point blade here, so it's a little bit longer than the original Drop Bear. Hollow grind to keep that thickness behind the edge nice and not thick. Should say the thinness behind the edge. And still narrow enough or thin enough on the blade profile. This is going to be a great everyday slicer. The handle shape is neutral and hand filling. I've got slightly larger than average hands, and on the Drop Bear, I've always been able to get a full grip on the knife, and that is still the case with this particular one. Yep, I like it. I like the cleanliness of it. I like the execution of the pocket clip right there, and just the design overall is very useful. You could use it too. I'm going to keep the kind of sleek thing going here. We've got new versions of the Alley and the Erny from StraightLine EDC. Titanium handle options going on. There's also a new G10 with a black coating on the blade, or a black finish on the blade, but I just have the titanium ones on the table here in front of me right now. Really cool pocket fixed blades. Let me show you the sheath on those real quick if you don't believe me. It is a leather pocket sheath. The knives slip into the sheath like so, and it's got a magnetic flap. So you slip the sheath itself into your pocket, let the flap secure it in place on the outside of the pocket. So it's not going to wiggle around on you too much. It's not going to tear up your pants pocket either, because the leather on top of magnet is a very gentle finish, or a gentle contact. And if that's the standard position for carry, if you want it to go a little bit deeper, there is a second magnet right up here. And you could basically have a deep carry pocket fixed blade, which is a cool thing indeed. Same sheath on both of those. The steel on these is M390. Blade is 2 3/4 of an inch. And as you can see from the very minimal marking on the back, not no marking like on the Kizer, but minimal marking, it is made in Italy. And then front side, the StraightLine EDC logo, very minimal, very clean. Prices on these stonewashed blade versions were about $239, $249 for the black stonewashed versions right here. In performance, in real-world use, they're going to be pretty similar. The edges are straight on both, but the alley has a more acute tip, and you've got the more kind of reverse tanto as opposed to the Wharncliffe on the Erny right here. In keeping with the namesakes of these knives, the alley handle is a little more round, and yet the Erny handle is a little more faceted. In hand, though, very little difference in feel, which is a good thing. They both feel very nice. It's more of a stylistic change there. But very, very cool knives. If you haven't tried a pocket fixed blade yet, might I recommend it?
You might.
In fact, I will. Pocket fixed blades are awesome. What else? Nice crown spine, hidden lanyard point at the back. All kinds of just excellent, excellent details on that knife. The magnets in the sheath do magnetize the blades just slightly, however. So I need to make sure they are spaced far enough apart. They don't attract one another. Next up, and also from Italy, we have some new knives from Sandrin. It's been a little while since we've seen some new stuff from them, and this is the Roma. It's a very Italian name now that I think about it, actually. And the claim to fame with these Sandrins is in their blade material. It is not steel. This is a polyhedral tungsten carbide. And tungsten carbide can hold a very sharp edge an unbelievable amount of time. And the way Sandrin have kind of been able to use this as a blade material is their way of creating this is a tougher creation than most tungsten carbide you might be used to. Which is not to say it's an incredibly tough blade material. If you're going to be like using and abusing your knife, maybe choose something with more toughness. But they've given it enough toughness where this can work as your everyday pocket knife. And the upshot of that is, look how thin that blade is. This is a crazy, crazy precise slicer. Cool finish on this one too. Sort of a high polished bronze PVD going on here. Thomas is going to have a lot of fun with that. Getting the B-roll there. Blade is 3.14 inches long and giving you plenty of length there to use that long edge lasting material. It can be sharpened gently with good quality diamond abrasives, but hopefully it's going to be a real long time between sharpenings that you're going to need to do that. Titanium handles, reversible Damascus clip, which is very cool. It's milled. It's got their signature kind of reduction to diameter holes.
Speed.
Smallering holes as it goes on. They're starting to wonder if English is in fact my second language too, if they're watching from over there right now. It would also appear to have a crossbar lock. I say appear to because it is in fact this metal plate that is actually interfacing with the tang of the blade. The crossbar, as it were, those studs are just moving that plate forward and backward, as you can see, which is interesting. Also, no internal stop pin, removing a potential extra place of stress. Instead, oversized thumb studs on the outside acting as an external stop pin. But in hand, feels really good. Action is nice. When you grip it, you've got really softened edges right there, which means it's nice. It says nice, right? Do you not believe me?
Good for tomatoes.
I wouldn't necessarily choose a completely straight edge for tomatoes, but it would certainly slice through the skin quite nicely. I might go for this blade shape, actually. A new version of the Torino from Sandrin, featuring Damascus steel handles. Cool, man. Oh, I didn't mention the price on this previous one. $599 for the Roma. This special edition of the Torino is coming in at $469 right now. Still has that polyhedral tungsten carbide blade, more of a kind of rough or working finish as opposed to the high polish here. 2.95 on the length on this one. You do have I believe it's a cast clip here, not a milled clip, but you get a deep carry yet also dimensional clip, which is pretty nice. It's also reversible, keeping this a fully ambidextrous design, just like the Roma. But you have the Sneck style super lock on the back. They call it the recoil lock, but it is essentially the Sneck's design, which is open sourced essentially, so they're not like stealing anything. Yeah, so this is fully ambidextrous, just like the not a crossbar lock of the Roma that we just looked at. Certainly hand filling as well. This is not the only new Torino. There is also, let me make sure I've got my facts straight, another version with a titanium handle in the same version right here, also at $469. Previously, these were G10 or carbon fiber options, so it's cool to see this giving us a more premium option in the Torino range. Very cool. Next up, from Kizer. This also might make a decent tomato-y shape or food preppy shape, perhaps. Maybe not. It's a little small for it, but anyway. Bunch of stuff from Kizer. We showed the Drop Bear Zero there up at the front. I got a bunch of K knives today, actually, in this episode.
Knife is spelled with a K.
That's the name of the show. This is a new version of the Sheepdog, featuring the same lock as the Zero there at the beginning, essentially a compression-esque button-actuated top liner lock style thing. We're never going to find a good name for these. $70 for this knife. For that, you get the 3-inch cleaver-shaped blade in Nitro V, which holds an edge pretty decently, but the real claim to fame of Nitro V is its toughness for a stainless steel. It is a very fine grain structure on the blade, which gives it that toughness. It also gives it very high edge stability, which can help a thinner edge hold up longer, which makes it feel sharper than it may be, which is cool. Handles on this, Blue Vortex Micarta. Wild. It feels in hand more like G10, if I'm honest. It's got really fine and defined layers like G10 as well, but that's what the website says. So I'm just reporting. You've got the finger safe closing action. You've got enough handle length there for a 3.5 finger grip for me, but you've also got an unguarded finger choil at the front, so you could choke up for that finer detailed work. Reversible pocket clip, making everything, of course, ambidextrous here because button style locks are great for left-handers, even though it's a right-hand facing thing. No flipper tab to get in the way like the original versions of the Sheepdog. Blade cut out for opening. Pretty cool. Also, not the only new Sheepdog today. Late last year, they introduced to us the drop point version of the Sheepdog, which has kind of been jarring at first because for so long, that's been the Sheepdog knife right there, that blade shape. Now, same handle, drop point blade. Sub 3-inch, Nitro V, $70. This one we have brown rich light for the handles, which is essentially recycled paper, very similar to paper micarta. It's got a great matte texture feel. Or that's where this material shines, I think, is in a matte texture finish, and we do have that on this knife. We've also got their clutch lock, which is what they call their adjustable crossbar lock here, meaning you can adjust the position of the springs to make the tension tighter or looser. But right out of the box, they're always really good. Don't stress about it. Thumb stud on this knife instead of the blade cutout. And of course, the aforementioned drop point blade for maybe a greater general purpose blade shape than the cleaver style of the original version. Full flat grind though, or almost a full flat grind, I should say, on both of these. Very high flats and thin enough blade stock where the geometry for slicing is going to be slicey. Next up, we have the Little Ringbo is the name of this knife, a Matija Milovic design. I hope I'm saying that right. And these are coming in about $80 right now. The steel on these is AEBL, which The Nitro V that we just mentioned is sort of an offshoot of AEBL. It's a little bit more stainless than AEBL is, even though AEBL is a stainless. But your edge retention and especially toughness should be pretty similar with the AEBL right here. It's a very, very good user steel. Blade length is just under 3 inches, almost a full flat grind on the drop point shape here, and a very squared off blade profile. 3 options right now. This one is blue aluminum.
Aluminum.
It's silky. They are all aluminum handles, I believe. Yes. And satin with gray or bronze with black, all of them $80 right now. You've got that lock, which we cannot name. So you've got the same benefits there, that finger safe path, the wrist flicking, of course, as well. Actually locks into the hand pretty nicely due to that very deep index finger groove right here. Don't call it a choil. I know some of you out there are already thinking of it. It's not what it is. It is a finger groove right there. And then the same pocket clip we've got on the Drop Bear Zero appears here as well. And in fact, this is almost as clean on the outside as the Drop Bear Zero. You do see the pivot hardware, but no other handle hardware back here. And like the Drop Bear Zero, we've also got that one hidden screw underneath the pocket clip right there. Interestingly, confirm here before I say it, there are no branding marks that I can see anywhere. So the steel, the designer, the brand, Kizer is not anywhere to be found on this knife, unless it's underneath the handle scales. That could be the case. I don't know. But that is very interesting indeed. So what do you want? You want no branding whatsoever and a pivot, or some branding and no pivot, even though you can't see the branding? Take your pick. Cool little EDC in any case. This next knife is more branded. Maverick Customs collaborated with Kizer to bring us the Harpoon fixed blades. Now we have the Harpoon Fold. As you guessed it, a folding version of the Harpoon. Several versions of this are now available. This is one of the higher end versions of it, featuring a Damascus blade, or not really a Damascus blade, it's a laminated blade, 3 layers, coming in at $110. Interesting. I lied. This is actually the entry point to the new folding versions of this. Because you have a, well, I don't know the steel composition of these layers, if I'm honest. But the other option is LMAX. So you get powder metallurgy with those, and those start at about 130 with a micarta handle. There's titanium as well for about 160 and 170, depending on which version you get. Let's see. Can we figure out what the steel is on this? No, we cannot. At least not here, based on the information in front of me. If we can find it out, we'll pop a little description up here somewhere in the corner. I guess we got to find a new place for that, or a new style for that with our new background. It's not as clean anymore.
We can just take you out, and then I'll have plenty of space.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Anyway, blade on this, 3.4 inches with the Harpoon pointed tip right there, mid-height, higher than mid-height flat grind in this case, which is interesting because the website lists hollow grind. We'll make sure that is fixed. And you get a real cool differentiation between the inner and the outer layers of steel on that, which is pretty nice. Micarta handles. Is that aluminum or titanium for the back? It's titanium. Nice. With a contour as well. So it's not just a flat slab. Fits the hand very nicely. You've got a deep carry pocket clip on the right side. Lockup. Very, very secure. Action, also really nice with that thumb stud. There's a front flipper there, should you so choose to use it as well. I like the geometry on the blade actually too. Like, it's not a full height flat grind, but the blade is thin enough. You can see the 3 layers from the spine as well. So it's going to cut well, and it's going to look good. If you want greater edge retention though, I would definitely go for the LMAX. I can't imagine this is any kind of particle steel in this case. Next up, and actually an opposite. So the Harpoon went from fixed blade to folder. Now we have a knife that's gone from folder to fixed blade in the Kershaw Bulldog fixed blade now. 3-inch blade, 14C28N steel, another offshoot of AEBL, which I'm very fond of. And the price is $70 right here. We've got gray G10 handles, although I would call that more of a denim blue, but they call it.
It's David's shirt blue.
No, less green in the handle here. There's more green in the shirt in this case. I like this even better than the folder, if I'm honest. The handle is accommodating. I've got room for all 4 of my fingers, no problem right there. And I feel like I could really bear down on this modified sheep's foot style blade right here. And then when I want to get more control, nice set of thumb scallops right there. The pinch grip on this feels great for those more, tip detail oriented tasks right there. But no matter how you hold it, there's plenty of jimping all around, both on the back of the handle here, where your thumb naturally sits, and where your index finger will reach out towards the front and utilize. We've got a hidden lanyard point here at the back, and then wrap around on the front. Is that a single? That is a single piece of G10. I don't see any evidence of a seam whatsoever. That's actually really cool. I didn't realize that till this very moment, actually. That's cool. I like that. The sheath is Kydex. It is right here. Comes with the slim dots style attachment right there with the 2 primary rows with the single intermediate row instead of like the wider hookup. Also has what could essentially be seen as a pocket clip. Here it is right here. You could use this as a belt loop because it's wide enough, or you could use this to carry this in your pocket. Like so. It is on the larger side for a pocket carry, but it is possible. You could also use this to carry it inside the waistband if that's your style. But a really cool, versatile set of mounting options or carry options are provided at that $70 price point. Next up, a larger knife for even less money, actually. The Area 8, a Jonathan Stiles design, who of course designed the Militaw with Kizer. 4 1/4 inch AEBL blade, just $60. Like, come on, that's crazy. Really nice thing going on here too. The handles are G10. They are not single piece, but there is no exposed tang from the outside. So it's full tang essentially, but the handle wraps around. And let's just make sure we can confirm real easy. Oh yeah, I'm getting pull. Ooh, interesting. I'm getting a drop off of pull right here. Yeah, so actually I think the tang ends right about there. So I don't think this is a full tang or full length tang either. The screws back here I think are just holding the 2 sides of G10 together. I'm glad I checked that. Is it going to be weaker as a result? Maybe nominally, but in actual use, I wouldn't worry about it. It's still a significant amount of tang right there. Green and black G10 on this one, of course. You've got a bit of finger guard and a bit of thumb ramp at the back, which is nice. You've got this cool drop point profile. It's narrow enough to fit into some tighter places. It is thick enough to be robust without being so thick that it's going to refuse to slice when you actually want it to slice. That's a pretty cool knife. This also comes with a Kydex sheath and the same 2 attachment options. You've got the slim dots style right there, and you have that multifunction clip, which could be your belt loop or your belt clip or your pocket clip or your inside the waistband clip, which is cool because this could make a pretty compelling option for a self-defense knife too, for inside the waistband carry, if you're into that sort of thing. Otherwise, obviously hints of tactical look to it, but I think this would be a great general purpose knife around the house, around camp, hiking, you name it. Everyday carry. Everyday carry a fixed blade, I say.
Everyday carry potato slicer.
Or cake. We don't need to bring the cake versus pie argument back to the comments section.
Cheesecake through the chat.
We've done it. What is a cheesecake? Discuss. Next up, we have the SHOT Show 2026 edition of the Presidio. We have this is a limited quantity knife. Essentially, we had it. We sold out. We managed to secure another batch of them, and they are here now. $300 for this. You get the S30V blade, 3 3/4 inch long, with the Presidio 2 drop point shape and a Cerakoted camo pattern blade, almost like old school Flecktarn in a way. Gives it a really, really stand out look here. Comes with micarta handles as well in green. So things you haven't really seen on any standard version of the Presidio up to this point, or the Presidio 2, I should say. And I am a big fan of the Presidio too. I have carried one of the standard versions quite extensively. I like the neutrality and room that the handle gives you. So all kinds of different grips, all kinds of different hand sizes, no problem whatsoever. And just a great all-around drop point blade shape. Mid-height, 2/3 height flat grind, we'll say, and a significant swedge, which is going to be hard to see with the camouflage. In fact, can you see the blade at all? Or is it all just blending into the background?
Okay, you've been holding up just a handle the whole time.
All right, we'll start over, fine. You got the axis lock, so you got all that crossbar goodness. You've got the reversible pocket clip, folded over, not quite deep carry, but folded over. You've got thumb studs as well, if you want to do that way. Finger guard for protection, but it's a gentle integration of a finger guard, so you can still choke way up right behind the edge without it kind of restricting your movement. Really, really cool knife. You never know, but when this batch is gone, that probably will be the last batch we're able to secure. Covered CYA. For something more regularly available with a bit of a wilder blade, the Bel Air XL from Kershaw, here's the rest of the K knives that I was talking about earlier, is now available with the tiger stripe finish, as you can see right here. $174 for this. You got a 3.4-inch MagnaCut blade with this modified Wharncliffe shape. Ooh, interesting. So the standard Bel Air, they always called like a drop point before. At one point, the website said drop point. I never liked that. I always thought it was a modified Wharncliffe. Now, this is saying reverse Tonto.
Attaboy.
It's all kinds of wrong, man. Me and the website are going to get into a fight. The website and I are going to get into a fight.
On the website.
Depends on the hour of the day. Anyway, you got
more uptime than you do.
Yeah, this is true. This is very true. It never sleeps. MagnaCut, of course, holds an edge really well. It is a stainless, and it is also very tough. Most stainlesses that are very tough don't hold an edge as well, and vice versa. But MagnaCut does it all. It does it all. Which is very cool. G10 handles, pretty roomy, decently roomy here. Definitely enough room for 4 of my sized fingers right there, with a little bit of a space to choke up. But it's certainly not the same kind of a super broad or super lengthy handle that the Presidio gives you, because it's a smaller knife, smaller blade too. Good geometry on the blade, a little bit thicker than the standard Bel Air, but still definitely erring on the slicey side. You got good action with the crossbar lock, ball bearings in the pivot here. Good stuff all around. Deep carry clip, which is reversible. It's a bigger Bel Air for folks who thought the Bel Air was not quite big enough for them. Really good value for a USA-made knife. In fact, all but one of the knives we're about to look at from Kershaw are in fact USA-made. Next up is the Dividend, which is made in Oregon as well. $128 for this, new coloration essentially. We've got the kind of, was this a natural aluminum? No, it is gray anodized actually, so there is some color in there. And you've got their composite blade technology, so the top here, in this case you've actually got N690, and the bottom half here, interlocking with this sawtooth pattern here, you've got CPM D2. D2 is a great steel, especially on more affordable knives, because it's got really big carbides that hold an edge, that help the steel hold an edge really, really, really well. However, the downside of that is they kind of introduce or take away a little bit of the toughness of the steel, because you've got these big carbides that can become, probably using the wrong term here, but things can fracture along those carbides. The CPM process here, so the particle metal version of it, makes those carbides smaller. So the steel is essentially tougher as a result, but the carbides are still nice and hard, so they're still going to hold an edge pretty well. Weeds? Maybe. If they are, they're gone.
A couple of daisies. You monster.
A very deep carry pocket clip on this knife. As you can see, it sticks out behind the handle itself. And that is in keeping with the whole kind of spirit or vibe of this knife, that is very thin, very easy to carry, very unobtrusive. Pull it out, you've got assisted opening action and a very thin modified Wharncliffe blade. Nothing to say on there, so that's fine. And a 4-position pocket clip too. Bit of a rarity these days. So you can get that if you want. Next up, is the only import on the list from Kershaw today. The Iridium, which started out as an import, but as you'll see soon, made the jump to the U.S. Stateside here for construction at one point. The manual version of this with the crossbar lock is still imported, however, but this is a higher end version of it. Standard version of the knife, I think, still sits around $65 or so. This one has been upgraded with both M390 steel and carbon fiber handles, and they're really nice carbon fiber handles, might I add. And the price comes up to just over $150 right now. Blade length, 3.4. Actually, this is an interesting side-by-side with the Bel Air right there. Both of these are supposedly 3.4-inch blades, but they're slightly different there. A little bit more for the US-made MagnaCut version, or you've got the fancier imported version for a little bit less in this case. The carbon fiber is nice. It is contoured. It is light feeling. There still are liners in this knife, however, so you're not getting like the full advantage of the lightness that carbon fiber could bring to the table, but it is noticeable nonetheless. Let's check out the action. Oh yeah. It's a nice. Reversible folded over pocket clip. The crossbar lock that we mentioned earlier with washers or ball bearings in the pivot. Stonewashed finish on the blade here, which should help it work pretty hard. We've also got new colors on several automatics from Kershaw. So the Launch series right here. We've got these green and these brown options, and I honestly can't figure out which one I like better. But we'll start with the Launch Iridium, which is this one right here. $168 for this 3.45-inch MagnaCut blade with a heavy stonewashed finish, like that working style finish, and bronze aluminum handles in this case. Still got a folded over pocket clip, with reversibility, but instead of the crossbar lock, you have push button automatic action. And the Launch series has always offered a really good value for folks looking to get into a side opening automatic like these, because the quality is very, very good. Especially when you consider the money. Like if you jack the price up another $100, you'd have the same knife that other competitors are selling essentially. It's very, very good. Another interesting thing. My favorite Launch has always been, or for a long time has been, the Launch 1. I love this knife. I have an older version of this knife. And this version here is the version I would buy today if I were buying a Launch 1. Because I have a blue handle with a black stonewash blade, the black wash blade, but I'm more of a satin or stonewash blade type of guy in general. So I would buy this one, and I think the green looks really good. This is olive green, by the way. But would I buy it over the Launch Iridium? I don't know. I'm not sure. I like this a lot too. It's certainly a little narrower in the pocket, but the style of the Launch one still speaks to me. I love the big belly and the long sweep of that blade, which in this case is CPM 154, 3.4-inch blade. So it's same-ish blade length as the Launch Iridium. You've actually got a little bit more sharpened edge and a broader knife, yet it is a little bit less expensive, $138 for the Launch one. Both of those are really good. There's been some other launches along the way that I liked a lot as well, but they didn't quite dethrone the one for me. I'm genuinely not sure whether I like the one or the Launch Iridium better right now. I really couldn't say. So I'll stop trying to. We've also got the Launch 11 with CPM 154 for about $135, and the Launch 4 with CPM 154 for about $100. Like CPM D2, CPM 154 is a powder metal version of an originally non-powder metal steel, that being 154 CM. And like the transition from D2 to CPM D2, when 154 CM becomes CPM 154, it gains a lot of extra toughness. So that's pretty cool. 2-inch blade on the Launch 4. Really cool pocket and California compliant auto. Really nice. And the 11 here, you've got that modified Warncliffe shape, or as they say, reverse tanto. 2 3/4 inches on the length there. Also really nice. The style on this one is cool. I like the cut through on the handle and the extra pivot collar, giving it a little bit more spice. So they've had the Launch series for a while, and then a few years ago, 3, 4, something like that, probably not 5, they came out with the Livewire. And as their first out the front automatic, they had a lot to kind of live up to based on the success of the Launch series. And if you haven't found out by now, it is also very, very good. New version of this right now, 3.3-inch MagnaCut Tonto blade here with flat dark earth aluminum handles. Price on this is about $240. The action is good. It's light enough to be comfy without being, without feeling loose or anything like that. Yeah, it's really good. And it is one of the few autos, or out the front autos, that in my mind is actually made for everyday cutting, or it prioritizes everyday cutting over being overtly tactical, which a lot of OTFs, that's their mission, and that's fine, that's cool. I'm not a particularly tactical guy, so I appreciate the slicier options that are on the market, like this one. As you can see, we've got a full flat grind, thin enough blade stock, and you got a swedge here as well, removing even a little bit more drag on that forward section as you're cutting through stuff. Being a Tonto, you've got chisel-y options right there with that leading edge. The kind of trope is that Tonto blades have more robust tips. I wouldn't necessarily consider this a particularly robust tip, so that's one of those cases where the stereotype is not always true. It can be, but that's just not what this is designed to be here. Reversible deep carry pocket clip, and yes, it sits at an angle, but yes, it is perfectly reversible, making this a great ambidextrous option right here. And last but not least, the Lucha, another one of their kind of big success stories of the last, within the last decade. 6 years, 7 years, something like that for these.
At least 5.
Something like that, yeah. I know why you're saying that. Upgraded now. It looks the same as the original, but we have MagnaCut steel as an option here. So if you use your balisong for more than just, doing tricks and stuff like that, you want your blade to actually perform, MagnaCut here, great option. $180 for this. How does that compare to the base version right now? Let me check here. Standard version with 14C28N that looks just like this is $162. That is like a no-brainer practically. $162 to $180 for a jump from 14C up to MagnaCut. Come on, man. Stainless steel handles. It's the same Lucha you know and love, now with better steel. That's all we got for today, folks. Let me know what you thought of the knives down in the comments, of course. Let me know your favorites if you want to get your hands on any of them. Check out the links in the description. That'll take you to KnifeCenter.com. Don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program or a bunch of new payment options we've added to check out, including Sezzle if you want to break things up into payments. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center. That's Thomas behind the camera. We're signing off. See you next time.
Cheesecake.